This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, this is a community development meeting for March 30th, 23. Under Governor Pritzker's order, we are allowed to meet remotely still. We have Attorney Gaziano remotely. The rest of us are present, with the exception of Drew Pearson is neither. Mike McKinnon, Jason Ackerman, Kelly Simons, and Paul Happick are all present. So, let's see, where to go. I'll have roll call. Mike? Here. I'm here. Conflict of interest?
None that I'm aware.
Public comment, we have none. Approval of the minutes for February 20th, 23.
So moved.
I second. Okay,
I cannot recall any errors or anything that I read them, so.
so back to the chicken ordinance
Call for a
discussion.
vote. You gotta take a
Oh,
vote.
call for a vote, I'm sorry. So vote for approval of the minutes, Mike,
Yes,
and I vote yes.
Did we have a motion and a second on that, or did I miss it?
we had it. I motioned and Jason seconded.
Okay, thank you.
So we're discussing chicken ordinance, whether we're going to write one, oppose or support. I think we all opposed the last meeting. We want to discuss that again. If we're moving forward writing an ordinance, where are we at on that?
Well, I think, as I recall, there was no support to, I guess we probably have to get something on the document to disallow it if it's not gonna be there, so.
Mary, I couldn't find again one of the older ordinances I thought had barn animals, but now I can't find that, so.
Was just odor and,
Yeah, there's a nuisance ordinance about odor, and is that what I'm thinking of?
yeah, I think that's the one that we,
And it mentions cows and swine.
yes.
That must be what it is that I'm thinking of.
Mhm.
So if we want to actually make another ordinance, is that you, Mary?
Or would we amend
Yes, if
that
you
one?
want, because what I would suggest is, if you don't want them, or if you want them one way or the other, to be very clear, I would have an ordinance that says they're either disallowed or they're allowed.
Well, I would make a motion that we either write an ordinance or we amend an existing ordinance, whichever is appropriate, to disallow chickens in the residential area or the residential district of the village.
And I would second that.
Barry, to your recollection, if there is an ordinance out there that, for odor with, cows and swine or whatever, would it be appropriate to amend that one or write something that is just related to, I guess if we say no chickens today, then we probably got ducks and geese tomorrow. So,
Right.
so it's probably something that would,
I was thinking barn, like I said, barn or yard animals, but I don't know, to cover more.
Well, what I had indicated in my February 12th of 23 email was when, because I had researched this long time ago, but I had, just to refresh everyone's memory, the village does not have an ordinance that specifically addresses the raising of chickens, but a similar question arose 13 years ago, and I provided a legal opinion at that time that it was not a permitted use in District Number 1, single family residential district, because such a use would involve an agricultural use that involves odor and or dust, and the same is not permitted within 100 feet of any property line in District Number 1. And so that's why I noted that if the board is adverse to allowing the raising of chickens in a residential district or is in favor of it, that I would recommend an ordinance be passed to provide the needed clarity either way. If you're in favor of it, it would be explained how that use would not fall under odor and dust. And otherwise, I would explain how it does generate odor and dust, or at least odor. Excuse me.
Well, if we were to draft that, a new one to just make that clear, would we expand it to all animals, including chickens, that would result in that? Did you say, so basically, unless we say they're allowed, they're not allowed?
They're not allowed if they're within 100 feet of a residential district and it is something that would cause odor and dust. Because
Okay,
right
so-
now,
So,
we have an ordinance that says they can't be within 100 feet of a residential district if they cause odor and dust. But I just thought for clarity's sake, because people aren't interpreting that or not looking at that or seeing that, that I thought we should have something, whether, it's a clarification ordinance to that, to say that chickens and other related animals are considered to generate odor and dust and therefore definitely not allowed in a residential district.
Okay, well, what you just said would be what I would recommend is the fact that,
Okay.
you've identified chickens specifically, but you've also alluded to other animals or whatever, so, next year we don't get some other animals, because, I
Like
mean,
a
I,
pony?
Right.
so that's under the District 1
Right.
zoning.
Zoning.
That's different,
Yes.
that's different. I mean, it's written similar, but it's different than the nuisance there is a nuisance ordinance that maybe that's where to put that. I don't know, the clarification. Because the nuisance ordinance would be one where somebody would find, I think, easier, if that's gonna be stay an ordinance for the village. It
Yeah, I mean, it
mentions
would be an
odor and
ordinance form. And I just remember the nuisance ordinance, that was from a long time ago. And as I recall, it's,
Yes.
pretty general. And that's why I wanted to make this
Oh,
have some
this
more
would be its own.
specifics in it.
I see, this is its own entity then. Own document.
yeah, to me, I guess, obviously, because it's a current issue, and if we're specific but generally and broad, and we can use it in other places if they come up or whatever, so yeah, I would think that would be my preferred route.
And nobody, this came off of Facebook, nobody's come in for public comment or anything for this, so that's where I was kind of coming from as well. So you made that motion, I would second that.
Yeah, well, I think we did on that, so I guess if there's nothing in the discussion that changes our opinion on that, so then I guess I probably could have broadened it up to, that we recommend that in authorizing the village attorney to draft said ordinance. So I will amend my original motion to have something drafted just to clarify that we're directing the village attorney to do that.
I will second that. Roll call. Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
And don't worry, Mary, you don't have to have it for the next board meeting. If you do, you do.
That's
If you
good.
don't-
That's good, because I'm working on some zoning stuff.
Yeah, I figured there's other higher priorities, but at least we'll get it on your task list.
Okay. The next item is the Burkhardt bench. And everybody's decided that can be, as far as Public Works was concerned,
Yeah,
temporarily put out there.
Well, again,
Till
whatever,
such time.
I guess first things first, it's gotta arrive, and at that point, we can assess either putting it there temporary and then moving it out in storage while something's being done or whatever, but yeah.
Oh, it's not here yet. Okay.
So there's really no further action on this committee. We kind of are tracking that on the Public Works, so if and when it shows up, we'll take care of it.
Sounds good. The next item is the subcommittee for park upgrades. I have reached out and I have a list of, I think we have a subcommittee. So Sally Bennett is willing to participate. Michelle Cunningham from the Park District Will Hartshee from the school, athletic director, I believe is his title there. He's willing. I, of course, am willing. Jonathan Meyer, he is my pastor's husband at the First Presbyterian Church here in Winnebago. He is very willing to help out, so that's another one. And I left a message with that preschool teacher, and I have yet to hear back, so.
The only other one that I might suggest to, I mean, I like the names that are on your list, but at one point in time, what is it, Winnebago, what's the other church?
Park, I think.
Oh,
Park Hills.
You said that, and I
Because
forgot.
they've offered to, cooperate with the village and, some type of thing or whatever, so I think it'd be appropriate to,
I will
bring them
reach
on.
out. I forgot them.
And I guess it would either be Gary Brown or, what's the other guy's
I
name?
can't remember the new pastor's name.
Know what it is. I think it begins with a G, but.
So then it's the next step when
Graham Boll,
That's it.
Graham Boll, Boll.
the other one was Gary.
Gary Brown is, I don't know if he's assistant pastor or associate pastor or co-pastor or
Former pastor.
former pastor. Or-
Okay, I've got that marked, I will get that done ASAP. So now that the names are out, I have a committee, can I start scheduling meetings? That's the next, right?
Mhm.
That's on me. Okay,
And Mary, do you mind if I ask a question?
no,
Mary,
Yes,
the subcommittees have to follow the same procedures as the other committees, correct? As far as posting?
correct.
Okay.
Because they're a subcommittee of, another committee that's conducting official village business.
all right, then that puts that to bed and moves it on to scheduling meetings. The next thing was added to the agenda, approval of Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful medication collection. They sent a letter to Frank requesting for 2023 in the amount of $1,400 toward the collection. Let's see, it will occur on Saturday, June 10th.
God, did that amount go up, or is that what we paid last year?
I don't know, say 1,200, does that sound right?
I mean, it's more of a
Yeah, I
donation.
thought it was 12 last year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess everything else is going up with inflation, why not your request too? So I guess to get to the point of discussion, I will make a motion that we make the donation to Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful in support of the medication drive in June.
I will second that.
I guess, did we get any statistics back from them, whether they still had, I know the first couple of years we did it, we were kind of tracking the participation, the amount of collection or whatever. I guess, is it still a viable activity?
I was a
I
little,
don't remember.
It's definitely a needed activity, whether it's.
well, I did some very light research on it just to try to, so I had something. I have no problem with this, but there is 15 stores that do allow you to bring medication to them. So, I get it for, if it's televisions or something that is real hard to get rid of, but I agree that this is a good thing that's being done, but there is many other avenues for it.
When we started this, there weren't many avenues.
Ah,
So, and I mean, in the first year, I mean, we were busy,
Really?
and the police department, I mean, they had a lot of narcotics.
really?
Yeah, so
Well,
I guess I look at it this way. Number one, I believe they're a good organization and I support
do
them.
too.
I support them individually, so, you know, I guess we can look at it as it's a donation to a good cause over and above this one event. And then I guess the other thing is as hard as it is to get volunteers, you know, we provided a lot of, you know, volunteer hours the first couple of years, but they have all but taken over. So really they're, other than, you know, a police escort to move any narcotics or whatever, the number of volunteers needed has gone to
So you're
zero.
getting some too, even though it's a
Yeah,
donation.
so. but-
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, so I think it's a, you know, two-sided coin. One is, it's a good cause, and I don't know, do we have anybody in the village of Winnebago that collects the medication? Or is
No,
it-
no, there wasn't, and I get it.
The first year
You don't
we-
have to leave town.
The first year we did it, we had people from Freeport, we had people from Duran, we had people from Pecatonica, we had people
Really?
from Byron. Oh, yeah.
See, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, because they were tracking zip codes, you know, in fact, one of our volunteers, their primary role was when the people came in, is just tabulate zip codes. And, you know, then you had another volunteer trying to, you know, request donations for the cause or whatever. So I just think it's tapered off a little bit because probably people had a glut of the stuff. But I guess the fact that we're getting narcotics, you know, in a controlled atmosphere, it's a good cause, and, you know, we're not getting the stuff dumped down the water systems and everything else.
Sure.
So, yeah, I guess what we probably do is I'd still support it this year, and then maybe we just make sure we're getting some good feedback from them or whatever on the benefits of whatever it is, and whether, you know, continue to do it in the future years.
So can I get, oh, go ahead, Mary.
Before you vote on it, I know that you said it was a motion for approval of the, you know, to donate the $1,400, but is it intended to recommend to the village
Go to the
board
board,
to do that?
yes.
Yes.
It's not that you want to do it out of this committee because there is a spending limit that you
Well,
could do it out of committee, but
The dollar amount would fit within the chairperson's, you know, discretionary fund, but I still think it's a good one to make sure we got board consensus. So yes, I did not state that, but yes, that was my intent, that we recommend the board approve and adopt this.
And I second that, so roll call, Mike.
Yes.
And I vote yes. And that brings us to new business, and so we have Paul Happick here, and I believe you're on.
All right, well, because of the solar inspections that have been going on, part of the inspection is that most of them are connecting into the meters now. It used to be they go to the panel, they put a breaker in there, they put a special connection in there. Most of them are going to the meter and connecting on ComEd's side meter. So I have to open up the meter, and there have been a couple of incidents where I've opened the meter up, and the way they put additional wires in there, it's kind of spring loaded. And it's just a little, there's no protection as far as fusing, except for ComEd fuses. And these ComEd fuses are protected, it doesn't protect individual houses, it protects a group of houses. So if there's something that would happen, it'd be pretty substantial, most likely. So I'm,
And when you say they, you mean the installers?
yes.
Yes.
What I would like this is, I'm gonna partially present this, but I've got to get more information. I went to a trade show, and I supposedly I got one bid back from that trade show. I was looking for 3. Talked to another one, he sent the wrong email, and then it went to my junk. And then I found out also that there's a company, Aramark, rents this equipment also. And what it is, it's PPE, it's personal protection equipment. And what it be, it's a 20 cal, and they weight the clothes, I should say. You have usually it's a 10, 15, 12, 20, and a 40 is the most, as far as protection. And it has to do
You're
with
talking about electrical protection.
electrical protection, arc flash. If there was an arc flash, this is gonna protect you up to, and the weight is the 20 cal is what I'm requesting, to get a 20 cal It'd be a baklava, which is like a hoodie that goes over your face. And then you got a hood or a helmet with a face mask. You have a jacket. You have rubber gloves, and they have leathers that go on the outside. It's kind of like you see combat, but it's not those big heavy duty gloves. There's a lower voltage gloves. And I would put those on before I open that up. So if anything was loose in there or was wrong, at least if something were to happen, I wouldn't get burned, okay? That'd be the biggest thing, because I don't think there's any kind of explosion that's gonna go on. I have been in a situation where I actually got two vertebrae fused in my neck from a breaker phasing out on me. So that burn, I had second and third degree burns, face and hands in a matter of seconds. And this is what I'm trying to protect myself from, this same kind of incident that happened.
I guess as a general rule, when either it's new construction or existing construction, I know the olden days of the telephone is you had a double box, your demarcation point, everything on this side, only the telephone company could touch. Anything on this side, the homeowner or his contractor could touch. How does that work with electrical systems? I mean,
Electricians pretty much can go from the meter of the house into the house. ComEd is responsible for the meter out to the dealer.
so what you're talking about having to go in the meter, are you still on the homeowner side of that, which you're operating on, or?
Well, there's both in there. It's a combination. You get ComEd coming in, hitting your meter, and then you got coming off the load side of the meter, going to your electrical panel. Okay, so what the solar companies do, they have this special connection it's basically set up for two wires. It's like a piece of rubber with teeth inside of it, and they go around each wire, and then they take a wrench and tighten it up, and these teeth dig right into the wire. They dig into the wire of ComEd, and they dig into the wire that they installed that goes to the rectifier of this from the solar. So then it ties into ComEd.
So they're still doing that work, but you as an inspector just have to verify it was done correctly, so you have to open it up to verify.
Correct. Yeah, that the wire size is correct, and then the connections, what they're using, because those are what pretty much everybody's using now, but there's other ways to connect it. Not all of them are approved.
Okay, so your ultimate thing is seeking for the village to provide the necessary PPE for you to do the job safely.
Right.
And what kind of rough idea are you getting quote-wise dollars?
Well, I've got one quote, and have a copy of that. That's kind of a rough, that's just from one company. The thing of this that's a little gray, and I'm trying to get some answers on that, is the rubber of the gloves. OSHA says that those rubbers are only good for, or every 6 months, they have to be tested. And they have to be documented, tested, that they're still good. If they have a little leak in there, or pinhole,
Little crack, yeah.
yeah. And after 10 years, they're no good at all. But, so instead of having, us having to try to find a testing company and going out and testing these gloves every 6 months to make sure that we're in compliance, I got a hold of, just today, I got a hold of Airmark, and I want to get feedback from them, but they're talking like they do company uniforms. They're saying, well, we'll pick them up and clean them. I said, I don't really need that, because I may not use it in a month's time, it just depends. I may only use it one time in that month. I just need something that's gonna protect me, and this is where you guys are gonna have to kind of look and go, well, let's buy this, and then we'll pay for the certification of the gloves, whatever we need to, or, let's rent it. And that's what I want to get some quotes, and you guys go, okay, this is what we want to do.
Yeah, I fully support, based on your final determination, the best option or whatever, and, you also got the insight on the necessary requirements that we wouldn't have or whatever, but I mean, even what you got here, to protect your safety or whatever, it absolutely is a necessity, and even if we have to, reevaluate whether, again, we went into this and we created the permit costs or whatever, we based them on what we knew then, but obviously if this has got to be factored in there, that you got to, throw another 25 or 30 bucks or something on every other one, so that way I don't know what the availability is of the certification process, but I know that even our measurement gauges that we use, we bring a guy in or whatever, it's 150 bucks a gauge just to have somebody so.
There is a third party that tests those gloves. I don't know where it is, and it's supposedly got some kind of pressurized machine. They put the glove over there, they turn it on, it holds so much pressure, boom,
Well,
good.
And one thing you might look at when you're learning this stuff or whatever, depending on where those certifications are, it might be a situation where we get 2 sets of gloves. So that way if you had to send them off UPS or something to get it done, if it's not something local, you'll always have a pair of gloves here. Then the pair could be set off or whatever, so you'd basically rotate through a couple pairs.
The problem with that, and this is what I thought, the problem with it is they're dated. So these been tested, you got 6 months.
Even if you never used them, they're looking for 6 months.
Exactly.
Buy a pair and then 6 months later buy a
Well,
second.
that might be
Yeah.
what I have to do too.
And it's just the rubbers, it's not the leather, it's just, there's a rubber insert that goes on there. And that's what, that's the big holdup on this. Everything else, I don't know why we'd ever, unless, I don't know why it'd have to be clean. It'd be something, and this would be something that I would like to carry with me. If the village wanted me to bring it in every so often to say, here it is. It'd be something that, so when I do my inspections, I can go out there, if I have a solar inspection, because a lot of times now I'm not working down in Cal. I do everything on the after hours and on the weekends now, since a lot of times I'm working overtime, so I wouldn't, if I didn't have to come in and get it and rank out.
I think the appropriate thing to do on that, so that way there is full disclosure, if it's $500 or $600 of village property or whatever, simply, sign a document.
Yeah.
I'm in possession of this, if we separate our relation at some point in time, I gotta turn this stuff in and, I don't wanna see you coming in at 6 o'clock and all of a sudden the office is closed, you're trying, no, it makes sense for you to carry this.
The other thing is, and we'll find out when I get you the pricing on the rest of it, is these come in different sizes. I'd like to think I'm gonna do this forever, but I'm sure there's gonna become a time where I'm gonna go, there's somebody else. He may be a different size than me.
Cross that bridge when we
So,
get to it.
yeah, but that's something with renting, you would go, okay, the only thing is renting, you're gonna get that renter cost. But if you're not doing the cleaning, I'm gonna find this out. I told this guy, it's not the typical uniform renting stuff. And he wasn't really familiar. He had talked to his boss about the actual PPEs. He didn't understand that part of it. He thought it was like a uniform I was gonna be wearing. So, but anyway, I just want to present to this that I was hoping to have all the stuff and just go, here it is, but, anyway.
I think you're on the right path and, but I don't mind, changing it out in the house. I ain't screwed with what you do.
Yeah.
And if I did, I'm gonna have safety equipment on.
Well, that's where I, for years I did it just like normal. And like I said, I got 2 vertebrae fuse in my neck, and there's been a couple times where I opened up the meter, and normally it's not a problem, but the way they put the wires in there, it's pushing against the cover, and as I'm pulling it off, I've had wires come off, not in the meters, but in panels where you pull it off and the wire flies out and it arcs and breaker trips or something like that. I'm okay with that, but ComEd, there's nothing protecting me except ComEd fuse, and it's rated pretty high. It's a killer. It's not a shock. It's a killer. So
More than just curly hair.
yeah, exactly. So
No, you gotta respect the electricity and, obviously it's a necessity to do the job. It's no different when Public Works goes out and, we're in holes and everything. We've gotta have the right thing to protect the guys in there so you don't have
Right.
to cave in and everything else. It's part of the necessity to do the job.
okay. So my biggest concern, actually coming here, since I didn't have all the information, is just letting you aware of direction I'm going and why I'm going that direction with it. So,
And
Yeah,
Paul,
well-
I have a question. You had mentioned
Yeah.
something and I didn't quite catch it. Are there different levels of this kind of equipment? You said something about a 20 and a something and a something.
Yeah, there are different, there are weights and there are different protection. On all the electrical panels now, they make you put what they call it's an arc flash, label, and on there, there's a calculation that they have to do that says, and it has to do with the size of the wire, the ampacity that's coming in, and they figure out, they go, if there was an actual arc flash, it would produce this kind of arc, and it would be this hot, so you need to have this kind of a suit. And the bigger the equipment, the heavier the weight, and they go up to a 40 cal suit, and a 40 cal suit is like wearing 6 winter coats all at once with a hood, gloves, and everything. And they're really heavy, they're really hot. We don't need that. They go down as far as a 10 cal, and that's for guys that are actually, when they're working in a panel, or you have maintenance guys in the factories, they look like uniforms, but they're arc flash protected. And it's just a heavy duty, not canvas, but it's a fire retardant material that they wear. And that's like a 10 cal. I'm asking for a 20 cal. 20 cal is gonna protect like a 200 amp panel. And that's the biggest I think I get into as far as the house solar. There's a lot of times I can open up those panels without that. It's just, like I said, that's been a couple of times where I open it up and I'm just.
You can play Russian roulette, and there's
Yeah.
one chamber that doesn't have a bullet in it too.
That's what I look at, you know.
It's not worth screwing with.
So, yeah, so I'm asking for a 20 cal, and that's kind of the middle of the road. It's big enough to handle what I've been getting into right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
and just
so
even what you're looking here, you got $500-600, so you might find out a little bit more recurring expense on the inspection or whatever, but, you
Yeah.
know, it's certainly looks like it's, you know, less than $1,000 for, you know, upfront cost and the recurring for a year anyways, and then
Right.
different things can wear out.
And this quote, the girl was able to, typically they give you a package, and it's, they have different, they got a full coveralls, they got a jacket and bibs, they got jacket and like pants, and I said, I don't really need the pants, because typically I'm, at a meter, I'm usually on my knees, because they're all down on the ground typically, on the houses. So I said, I don't really need pants, but sometimes they go, unless they're a package deal, you get the pants, well, okay, I'm just gonna put them on. So the only other thing is the other guys may go, no, this is part of the package deal, you gotta have pants. She was able to just not do that, because she gave me what I asked for, basically.
So do we even need to hear about renting it? I don't have any problem with purchasing.
No, I think once he gets you,
I'd like to get you another.
Whatever the best
Another
option.
guy that was.
Oh,
That I messed, that, between emails and it went, like I said, went to my junk mail, and I didn't even look for it there, and I thought, well, he didn't respond back, and finally I went, hey, and then,
my gut feeling is just looking at the preliminary numbers, I don't see viability in a rent. It's probably gonna be, you know, the only thing we just don't know is, you know, again, we might buy something, and if he doesn't have a use for it for 6 months, and the thing's terminated based on date, it might be throwing a perfectly good thing, so.
well, yeah, and that's where the renting, the guys, they actually sell it too. And he said, well, maybe we can work, I'll talk to my boss, and said, maybe we can get, where it's better for you to buy the clothes, but we just rent the gloves, and we go back and forth. And so that's why I wanted to wait till I get that in there too. We'll find out. He was gonna give me 2 bids, one renting everything, one the other way around, so.
Yeah, I think once we, you know,
Get you more information. I know I'm here a little early, but I
That's
had
all right.
it set up thinking I was gonna have all this stuff here.
conceptually, it makes sense.
And Paul, you're comfortable that the 20 is sufficient? I guess I don't
Yes,
want to, you know,
No, I am. I've worn those, I've had to wear those before, and the 40 cal, for what I'm doing, they're really clumsy.
That's why I say, you wanna protect yourself, if you start going
Yeah.
too much factor of safety, they become burdensome.
Yeah, for what I do, it's really an overkill. I mean, it's great, for protection, but, if I'm out in the middle of summer and I gotta put this, and when I say a hood, it's a heavy helmet with a hood that goes down in my front and over, it looks like a spacesuit almost. And they make them with fans in there so his guys will pass out from the heat that you put on, but, Yeah, I'm positive that this is sufficient enough for what I'm doing. If something were to happen, it would protect me from any arc flash getting severely burned. So I'm comfortable with it.
And
What's it,
Paul,
Rich?
if you were to buy it, if we were to buy it piecemeal like that, you know, the different pieces, but say not the pants, if you then ran into a situation where you needed it, do we know what the turnaround time is like to get you what you needed?
You mean like a pair of pants here or something?
Yeah,
The cover
yeah,
up,
I mean,
like the cover up, you don't think you needed it, but all of a sudden you realize you got a job. Are they off the shelf items or are there lead times?
No, I don't think they're much of a lead time item. This girl was like, yeah, you need them like tomorrow, or I can send them out to you. I said, well, I gotta present it to the village board. So I don't think it's a lead time item. I know Aramark, they have it right there. They're ready to ship them out to you, so.
okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, any other new business?
Not on my account.
Items for the next board meeting, when did we motion for the nuisance ordinance, right?
Yeah, but
That's passed to Charlie.
Mary probably will not have it ready for the
Right.
upcoming meeting, so just kind of put a note on there to know that if we target that for the May meeting.
Or June, yeah, May. Oh yeah, we're already in April.
Yeah, time flies, doesn't it?
Ugh.
So there is nothing for the board. No executive session, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Well, before we do that, let's just kind of target to the best of our ability to predict when you think you might have the next meeting.
Oh. 1 month from now.
Yeah, like I said, the next meeting, the May meeting will be the 8th, so ideally we have a meeting 2 weeks before that, so Public Works is going to be the 26th.
Public Works is the 26th. We didn't assign a time for police, so 27th is fine with me.
Yeah, we can do the 27th, if we do it somewhere like the same thing, 5:30. I mean, if it goes this quick, I got no problem making it a trivia. Even if we took a little longer, I would just.
Right. Okay, that works, April 27th, 5:30. Okay, now a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second. Roll call.
Yay.
I also vote yes.
Time is
6:08.
6:08.
6:08.
Thanks, Mary.
Have a good evening,
Okay,
Mary.
thank you very much. Yep, you too. Bye.